Be the Vibe Radio, Season 6, Episode 11.
Wow, your face, really?
Yes, she's obsessed.
Well, obsessed. Like, now you have to show them to me. Come on, show them to me. You have to show them to
Okay.
me. Let me see.
Hello, and welcome to Be the Vibe Radio, where we have real life discussions about real life experiences. Be the Vibe Radio is an educational podcast that promotes liberation through spirituality. I am your host, LaToya Thurman. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Be the Vibe Radio with your hostess, LaToya Thurman, aka Crystal's son. It is February, 5th?
It's February 5th.
February 5th, 2025. And can you believe that we are actually doing the first Y in the Sky of 2025, which we apologize because it has been a dumpster fire from January 1st, and we left y'all hanging for December, I believe, and then we left y'all hanging for January. So we are getting it together for February. And I'm excited also to announce that for those of you who might be watching on YouTube, this is our very first episode that we'll be doing for both the podcast, for Spotify, and posting the video on YouTube. So if you're listening on Spotify and you want to see us, you can head over to YouTube and catch this full episode also on YouTube. So if you are here for the first time, welcome. Again, my name is LaToya Thurman. I am the content creator for this podcast for Be the Vibe Radio. A little bit about myself. I am a priestess. I am an initiated priestess of Lukumi. I am the owner of Simbi's Conjure Shop. I am an educator. I am an author, Reiki master, a lot of things, all the things. Yes, all the things.
And so much more.
Yes, and so much more. I have with me my my partner in crime. Yes, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
What is good, everybody? Shaman Hands, aka Reverend Shawn Wells Goldman, is in the building. Astrological minister, healing hands minister, registered metaphysician, certified holistic practitioner, Reiki initiate, Lukumi practitioner, father, lover.
All the things.
There's a whole lot more. We could go on for a long time, but we are credentialed.
Yes.
And we are here to give you guys some tea.
Yes. So
a lot of tea.
Yes.
The tea is over. It's bubbling over. It's spilling on the table.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on.
A lot going on. Yes. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is our Y in the Sky segment.
Y in the Sky.
Y in the Sky.
Yeah.
Did I say Y in the
you
Sky?
You said Y in the Sky.
Oh, my bad. Y in the Sky segment of Be the Vibe Radio. So this is a segment that we do, an episode we do once a month, where we give you the astrological and the spiritual weather for the month. So I pull cards for the month, and I give you a breakdown of what to expect spiritually, and then Shaman Hands comes in with the astrology, and he breaks down the astrology. And so the purpose of this podcast episodes or this segment is to let you know what's coming and to best prepare you, let you know what you can do to best navigate through the spiritual astrological storms. And it's a storm. It's definitely a storm.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to go right into my card analysis, my tarot pool analysis in just a minute. But before I even get into it, I just want to let you guys know, don't panic. Don't panic. It's not great, but it's not terrible. And it's not the Yes, I promise you. I mean, for real. Y'all know who follow me. Straight up no chaser. It's not the best cards. Some of them are cards that I didn't even want to see for this month, because I have my own plans and goals, and the cards are kind of like telling me, yeah, you might want to hold off on that. And it wasn't really news I wanted to see in this card pool, but I will tell you, this month is preparing us for some really beautiful things that are going to come, especially in the spring. And it's been in the last 3 to 4 years that the springtime has always been the best time for manifestation and cultivating. And February's tarot pool is showing that to be the continued trend. So don't panic. And really, before we get into this episode and breaking everything down, don't listen to what everybody is saying. Like, don't get caught up in the news, the social media. Because if you do, it's gonna set you up. It's gonna set you up for failure, and panic and anxiety and depression and all of that. So, yeah, that is my introduction. Is there anything you will?
I mean, panicking is never a good thing. First of all,
It's not. It's not. It's definitely not.
but it's definitely not going to be good this month.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
Well, wait, before, I mean, do we want to acknowledge this is a huge milestone for us. We're on video for the first time
Yes. Yes.
ever. So how many years have we been doing this Wide in the Sky?
For 6 years.
And this is our first time on video
with the Y in the sky, yes. And this is something that we've been wanting to bring to YouTube for a while and bring to video for a while, but now we finally have the space, the equipment, and a lot of our growth has been due to you guys' continued support of the Y in the sky. So you guys are the reason why we do this. But yeah, me and Shaman Hands have not been on camera together in a very long time.
Very long time.
And
how long has it been?
It's been maybe 2020 maybe.
Oh, okay.
We did a little bit of stuff when we were in our old house.
Okay.
But
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, not for those of us been following for a while, we were on Periscope, we were on man. That's how you know how way back. That's how you know how long it's been, we were doing well, that wasn't on camera, the Sunday services and things like that. But it's been a while. And so
Periscope wasn't on camera?
No, Periscope, not the Sunday service.
Oh, Sunday service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's been, but we did a couple lives. I think when we were in the last house, but not to this extent and not with this setup and everything. So, yes, we are clapping for the milestone. At some point, we're gonna figure out how to add, what is it? The sound effects. Yes. So we'll be doing that eventually. But yes, we are excited about this. And so again, this will be both on the podcast, streaming platforms, as well as on YouTube for those who are on YouTube. And it will be on my page, my YouTube page. I'm not sure if Shaman Hands will be building his own YouTube.
So let me address that real quick, because I know a lot of people wonder what happened, because it's been a little over a year now. I was doing Wide in the Sky on my own platform, and it was a lot more deep in detail, thorough. I went into a lot more explanations of things. And so August of 2023, I took a hiatus. And I was planning on coming back soon after that, but then October 7th, 2023 happened, and then the whole world went crazy. And honestly, I had to just step back, not just because of that, but we were house hunting. Mm-hmm. Toya put me to the side and was like, "Look, we got to focus on getting this house because shit is getting crazier and crazier," and we would just focus on a lot of different things. So, we focused on that, and we moved into our new house February of last year. So, it's a process moving in, getting stuff situated and everything like that. But We made it. We're here, guys, and on camera as well. So I will definitely be coming back to my YouTube channel very soon. I can't say when yet because I'm still working some things out. But actually, us being on camera is a part of that because we're seeing how things go with this, and that's going to help me know what to do as I prepare to come back with my Why in the Sky.
Yes.
Weekly forecasts, alignment breakdowns, all kind of stuff I got for you guys.
Absolutely, yeah. So, but it definitely until then. A lot of you know that I've reactivated my YouTube channel. I've already posted about 3 videos, and I will continue to post videos on my YouTube. And I will say I'm gonna do a little plug as well. So, of course, you guys, we've been doing this segment for you all. We haven't, it hasn't been subscription based or asking for any money or anything like that. However, we would like to monetize this on YouTube. So we're not asking for, we're not dropping cash apps and things like that. We're not asking for that. However, if you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is, you can look up Crystal Sun or Therapeutic Vibrations. And I will also include it in the, for those of you who are listening on Spotify, I'm going to include the link to my YouTube. But if you can subscribe to my YouTube and, watch the videos, the more subscribers I have to my channel and the more views I get, if I get to a certain amount of views on my videos, then I can start monetizing YouTube. So that's how I would like to go with the route of, that's the route I would like to go with this. I'm all tongue tied today. Something must be going on with Mercury.
There's a lot going on with Mercury.
So
Mercury's having a ball right now. It's actually not very happy, and it's taking its frustrations out on the world.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, we will.
So that is the plug. If you're listening on the streaming platforms, go to YouTube, subscribe to my channel, watch the videos, get my engagement up, and then I'll be able to monetize that. That's
Absolutely. My goal. And for those who don't know, my YouTube channel is Shaman Hands. So definitely go over there and subscribe to my channel too. And remember to hit that bell so that you can get the notifications to see when we post videos.
Absolutely. So are we ready to talk about these cards?
Let's get it.
All right. So the themes for this month for the tarot pool are new seasons, a new start, but a lack of inspiration, pessimism, depression, disconnect, and disempowerment. So this is a tarot pool where all of the cards except for one card were reversed. It was pretty much a little bit of everything, a mix of major and minor arcana cards, which means that we have an equal amount of celestial interference and celestial pool, as well as we have an equal amount of opportunity to be affected by our own actions, right? So in that sense, it is a balance. So I'm just going to get right into it. So the first card was the 5 of Cups, and it was reversed. I didn't add that in my notes, but yes, the 5 of Cups was reversed. Now remember, cups are water cards. Water cards represent our emotions, our relationships, and things of that nature. And again, anytime you have a cup card reversed, that means a draining of that energy, a pouring out of that energy. Traditionally, the 5 of Cups represents looking at the cup being half empty versus half full, because in a traditional deck, it's usually a person that's got 5, usually buckets or gourds or cups or containers, and 2 of them are knocked over, spilled, empty, and 3 of them are filled, but the person is looking sad, gazing at the cups that are empty instead of acknowledging that they still have 3 full cups. That is the overall energy of this month, right? But in a reversed aspect. So what this card is telling me is that we run the risk of pouring into the wrong cups, right? Meaning where attention goes, energy flows. So we have to, especially because we're in an era where there's a lot of harvesting of emotions going on, right?
Yes, there is.
So we have to really, really, really be disciplined in paying attention to where our attention is going and making sure that we're not pouring into the wrong cups. That means the wrong conversations, the wrong people, the wrong energy, the wrong situations, all of that.
And there's a lot of water to pour this month.
Yes, yes. The Five of Cups reverse also represents holes in the basket. So, in Orisha tradition, there are patakis or odus that speak to pouring water in a basket, and we all know baskets are woven. They don't have they're porous, and so anything you pour in a basket that's liquid is going to flow right out. And so the whole concept is it speaks to how we can pour our energy and our resources into things that are just going to completely drain out and we're going to lose eventually, right? So there, and this is actually very significant for another card that I'm going to speak to, because this is indicative of our resources, our financial resources as well, which are not looking that good this month, but I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. But yeah, it speaks to holes in the basket. So watch out for emotional overload, okay? Which again, with the way everything's going politically and socially and globally, a lot of us are on an emotional fritz. Like it's like we're what's the word? We're like emotional shock and emotional, anxiety. That's a lot of that's going on. So again, the best way to mitigate that is to just really be intentional about what you're putting your energy into and what you're focusing on and what you're thinking about, right? What you're putting your emotions into, right? But another thing that the Five of Cups reverse speaks to is our temporary setbacks begin to clear up. So it's a card that represents that you've hit rock bottom, and then it can't get no more rock bottom than this. So the only way to go is up, right? So we're in the upward climb, right? We're recovering. So even though things don't look the best financially, this month we are in a period of recovery, and it represents like when something is in a momentum, and then like say it's a wheel, right? So a wheel is spinning, and then it gets to a certain momentum, and then the wheel is supposed to stop in reverse. There's that period where it slows, and then it stops, and then it slowly reverses to go in the other direction. We're in the period where it's stopped and it's slowly reversing in the other direction, but it hasn't gained momentum yet. So again, we're in a period of recovery and things are going to get better, but it ain't going to look like it right now.
Not for a few months. I just wanted to add that real quick because this actually is everything you're describing right now is going to be extended out all the way until the summer. Actually,
that makes sense. Yeah,
I just wanted to help people be aware of that.
And I will say, you guys, as long as I've been doing this Wine in the Sky, I've noticed that the first few months of the year set the tone for the summer. And then the summer energy, like the early summer, like late spring going into early summer, sets the tone for the end of the year. So when you're thinking about paying attention to energy, pay attention to January, February, and then pay attention to April and May. And then whatever all of that energy collectively, it will tell you what your harvest and what your end of the year is going to look like, right? Anything before I go to the next?
No, you cooking.
Okay, so the next card is the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Now, Pentacles again represents it's like Pentacles, wheels, coins. It is financial, tangible rewards for work, right? So money, resources, and things of that nature. Now, we never really like to see our pentacle cards reversed because that means a hiccup or some type of interference in our finances and our money and our resources. But specifically, the Nine of Pentacles speaks to personal failure, right? So, not the fact that the failure is going to happen, but that we are in the middle of a personal failure of some kind. So, we're all just realizing whatever, that we didn't do something correctly, that we failed at something, that something we tried didn't work out. We're in the season of that, right? Which again is a good sign, because it already failed, it already ain't looking good. So now that we're in the space of recognizing it, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm in here with I am distracted by my turtle. My turtle is over here trying to escape. She is climbing all on her aquarium, and I might have to put her outside, because I don't know what this girl is doing, but she has been trying to scale the walls of her aquarium, and it just distracted me. And
She's trying to get out of all that Pisces water.
Oh my God, I'm about to put her ass outside. So when we take a break, Ruby Jean is going out in the garden, because she is, I don't know what she on, but she's
been watching the news too much.
Okay, anyways, I got you, Ruby Jean. I'm gonna put you outside, let you run around for a little bit. So yes, so we're in the space of figuring out and finding out that something we tried is not working out. And once we're in that realization, now we can take the steps that we need to course correct, right? So the Nine of Pentacles reverse speaks to personal failure, mistakes, and a loss of our stability, or our stability being jeopardized, okay? Financial uncertainty and delays, interruptions, and money. So if you were looking for payouts, tax returns for those who filed, there's going to be delays in that. Clearly we're already seeing that with a lot of these executive orders that are being signed and implemented. So not that the money won't come and the resources won't come, but that there's going to be interruptions and delays. Okay.
Please say that again, because everybody been
wilding out. So yes, it's not that the money and the resources are not going to come. It's just that they are going to be delayed. They're interrupted. Okay. But the reason why is because, again, this is speaking to how we feel about money, how we feel about resources, how we value money and resources. So this delay is giving us an opportunity to actually look at our money and our resources and study our patterns around that, right? Because the Nine of Pentacles reverse speaks to budgeting, saving, and being fiscally responsible. That's really all it's inviting us to do. So then that way, when the delays are cleared and the interruptions are and the blockages are gone, and then the money starts to flow, we're able to be in the best mindset and to have the skills in order to manage our money and be successful.
In this retrograde.
So with that being said, I'm going to take a break. We're going to do a commercial break, and I'm going to get my turtle together. Are you looking for a spiritual store? Well, Simbi's Conjure is a one-stop shop for all of your metaphysical needs. Simbi's Conjure is a botanica that is rich in hoodoo tradition, featuring a large book collection, candles, ritual tools, incense, conjure oils, spiritual baths, spell kits, curios, and so much more. In addition to events and classes, we offer a full range of services from Reiki to spiritual readings. So come check us out. Simbi's Conjure is located at 4140 Jonesboro Road, Suite D3 in Forest Park, Georgia. You can also find us at www.bethevibe.com/shopsimbis.
Do you ever walk into a space and feel the energy automatically feel dense and dark and negative? Even in your home space, when you come home and your environment is just a little off, use some of my carpet cleaner, Swamp Lady's Magic Carpet Cleaner. It is all natural ingredients. The recipe is given from my ancestors and blessed through my hands to create a beautiful product that shifts the energy of whatever environment you're around to feel more peaceful, more relaxed, and also to bring in some beautiful blessings of abundance in all shapes and forms. Head over to Simbi's Conjure Shop and receive the beautiful bountiful blessings of Swamp Lady's magic carpet cleaner. Don't walk, run.
And we are back.
We are back.
We are back. Okay.
It was outside.
Yes, yeah.
Toya's it's okay now.
Wait, what?
Toya's okay now.
Yes. I didn't hear.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, yeah. Ruby, she's in the garden now, and I'm hoping she doesn't get out of the raised beds. I don't know, because when I put her in there, she'll burrow and hide somewhere. She tried to camouflage with her shell. There have been a couple times where I thought she done escaped out of that raised bed, but at this point, she needed to run free for a little bit out there. So, but yes, we are back from our commercial break. Support your local businesses. Thank you.
That's right.
Please and thank you. So I'm going to get right into the rest of the tarot pool, okay? So the next card was the only card that was right side up, that was not reversed, which I'm actually am happy because I love when this card shows up in a reading, which is the World, right? And the World always represents the end of a cycle, end of a season. It represents new beginnings, and completion. So make no mistake about it. Everything that's happening right now, personally within our own inner worlds and spiritually and globally, politically, is ushering in a new season, right? Things are not moving forward. Things are not going to be the same as they were, okay? Both personally and globally, right? So if you are hoping that things are going to go back to how they were, that ain't happening. I'm just ripping the Band-Aid off of that right now. Okay.
Not even close.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because the world is telling us that it's important for us to move forward and not look back. Okay. We cannot carry old patterns into a new season. Everything that we do moving forward has to be new. It has to be innovative. And that's the reason why I've been talking for the last several years about decolonizing our mindsets and breaking down our inner beliefs and restructuring them into new beliefs and new patterns, because all of this old stuff that is no longer working, it's got to go, right? And so the world is coming in, the card is coming in to tell us this. And the reason why this is important to let all that old stuff go and to not bring old patterns into a new season is because the world represents triumph, attainment, and increase and success. So it's interesting how you have this card before, which is the 9 of Pentacles reversed, and it represents failure, but then immediately after is the World that represents success, right? And so it brings to mind this saying that it's, something is not a failure, it's just a lesson learned, right? So the 9 of Pentacles reverse is coming in as this lesson learned, and then the World is ushering in us taking those lessons and making those into wins and making those into successes. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
if we as a collective, well, I mean, of course everybody ain't gonna be on board, but the more people that are on board with that, then the more that's gonna come to fruition.
Yes.
What you just said. So,
yes. So it's very important for us to focus on the bigger picture and focus on joy right now. And basically the World is coming in as the energy that we need to utilize for this month to get through it, right? Because if we focus on the bigger picture, if we carry the lessons and carry the new ideas into this new season and we focus on the joy, then it will immediately neutralize that energy from the 5 of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles, right? That makes sense?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go right into the next card because, the World, that card was very straightforward. And honestly, this entire pool was very straightforward. So continuing on, we had the 10 of Wands reversed. And, Wands is a card that it's fire. So it's a masculine card, and it represents action. It represents momentum. It represents, what we're passionate about, our projects, the things that that ignite us, that give us that spark, and it's reversed, right? And then you've got the fact that it's a 10 of Wands. And for those who study tarot, you know that the 10s of the suits represent the ultimate culmination. So just like the ace is the spark and the start, the 10 is the culmination of that suit. And so, kind of like the final outcome or the final manifestation of that particular suit. So you got all of that energy reversed, right? So the 10 of Wands reversed is speaking to a lack of responsibility. So you're going to see a lot of people being irresponsible this month, people wanting to let go of responsibilities, people not wanting to deal with stuff, because people are overburdened. So you're going to feel overburdened. You're going to feel a lack of inspiration. And I said this on my Facebook maybe a few weeks ago or last week, where I was saying how it's a very important time for art right now. We need art. We need artists right now to help us process what's going on socially and politically, and to help us have like an outlet, right? And so even though a lot of us will feel uninspired, we need to be inspired and be in a space of artistry, right? So because otherwise, that lack of inspiration is going to be very immobilizing and paralyzing, So there's that. Also the 10 of Wands reverse speaks to not being recognized for hard work, right? So this is not a time, so don't focus on the clout, because you're not going to get it. Allow your work to speak for itself, because the recognition is going to come later.
Be patient.
Goodness. Right. And in the meantime, remove things and people that no longer serve you. This is the time to sweep that out. This is the 10 of Wands reverse is telling us that this is not the time to add things to our plate. This is the time to take things off our plate. Okay. Because again, the energy is, I don't want it. I don't want the responsibility. I don't want the burden, and that is actually going to help us, that taking inventory, removing things off our plate is going to take us into, it's going to help us with that 5 of Cups reverse energy, where we're feeling overwhelmed and we're feeling like emotionally drained, right? So the 10 of Wands reverse supports the energy of the 5 of Cups reversed. All right. Okay. So again, don't focus on the clout, because you're not going to get it. But just do your work and let the work speak for itself.
Yeah, appreciate your own work.
And
know that what you're doing is what you should be doing. And that even though you're not getting the credit or the appreciation that you deserve, now's the time to pour that into yourself.
Absolutely.
That's the only place it's going to really come from, folks.
Absolutely. Yes. So the last card for this pool is the last, it's the second of the 2 major arcana cards that we have, right? And it's the Empress, but the Empress is reversed. And so this speaks to feeling disempowered, a lack of diplomacy, a lack of creativity and art. So this is further, amplifying and kind of further supporting. It's the continued conversation of the 10 of Wands reversed, right? So you're going to see a lot of people not wanting to negotiate. They're not going to want to be diplomatic. And it's not even necessarily an energy of fighting, because interestingly enough, there are no sword cards in this tarot pool for the month. So what this means is that, everything that's going on is going to be emotional in the sense, but you're not going to see a lot of like verbal fighting or physical fighting or you're not going to see a lot of, you know, like gossip, envy, stuff going on in the office, like outright conflict. But you are going to see a lack of diplomacy, so it's gonna present itself in a very passive aggressive way. So you're gonna be dealing with a lot of people that are gonna be very obstinate and stubborn, but they ain't gonna be able to tell you to your face. They're gonna be very difficult, but not in a way where there's a direct conflict. So that actually gives me hope, because what that means is that a lot of the violence that we've been seeing lately is going to be a little bit more subdued this month, right? But if you're looking to negotiate something, if you were in a legal if you're in a legal battle that requires negotiation and mediation, don't expect that to go well. If you're trying to negotiate a new contract or a new lease or raise or anything that requires diplomacy, if you're a mediator, you're going to have a very difficult time, because you're going to bring people to the table. They're not going to want to they're not going to want to negotiate. So you're going to see that on a global level. So I'm actually very glad that we've already seen a ceasefire agreement, in the Middle East, because if they were still trying to broker that wouldn't have happened this month. But also expect there to be people who are going to be violating their diplomatic agreements as well, but in a very, again, subtle and sinister way, and not with outright conflict. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's interesting that the Empress reverse is speaking to a lack of creativity in art, because we desperately need that. We desperately need that this month. So go to an art museum, go to a festival, music festival, see a concert, go to a comedy club, something. Like, if you don't feel inspired to put out art, then go support artists, please, because we need that energy, we need that inspiration.
The artists are actually going to need more support now than normal,
right?
So that's actually a very good investment.
Yes,
to make.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then the last messages that the Empress reverse speaks to is barrenness and infertility, and just an overall inability to grow an idea, which makes sense, because if you're already feeling emotionally overloaded, and you feel like you have too much responsibility, and you're having anxiety, and then also if your resources aren't coming through the way you need them to be, you're not going to be in a space to nurture an idea or a concept or some type of thing that you're inspired to do. An overall lack of nurturing. Try to push through that anyway. Okay, don't give in to that. Okay. And then the last thing that the Empress reverse speaks to is financial issues and domestic strife, like issues within the home, right? Which makes sense, because a lot of our homes are, the energy in our homes are directly related to how we nurture our home space. So if we're neglecting our home space and we're not nurturing it, it's going to lead to domestic issues and tension in the home. And again, if we're not looking at our money and our resources, again, the Nine of Pentacles reverse, if we're not setting budgets and being fiscally responsible and cutting back in our spending and being more responsible with our money, we're going to have financial issues, right? So that's it for the tarot pool. But I want to say this as well. One of the messages that I got when I was tending to my earth mound this past new moon, when I was tending to it, the spirits out on my land specifically told me that whatever we sow into the earth, we're going to get back directly, right? So, and it's interesting, because when we talk about the Empress reversed, it speaks to a lack of nurturing. So when I think about that message that Spirit gave me, if we're not nurturing the land, if we're not, or whatever we sow, we're getting back. And so if we're sowing neglect, and we're sowing chaos and genocide and exploitation and violence, worry, fear, all of that. The earth is literally regurgitating back to us what we're putting into her, and she's doing at a rapid rate, right? Whereas if you sow peace and joy and abundance and community and
minerals
and nutrition and food and like the actual tangible water, things that we then the earth is going to immediately give that back to us. So these are the things that I want you to consider as you think about the tarot pool for the month. And then also Shaman Hands is about to get into his astrology analysis. So think about that. And also, as you think about my tarot pool and then what Shaman Hands presents. All right. So that is it. I'm actually going to pass the mic over to, well, not the physical mic, but the baton over to Shaman Hands so he can tell you about what's going on and all his little highlights.
All his, a lot of highlights.
And then there's highlights and highlights.
Mm-hmm. And dark highlights.
All right. So go ahead and grab what you need. So well, you should have already grabbed what you needed, whether it's coffee, your tea, your blood, your notes, your sanity.
So we're taking another break?
Nah, I'm gonna let you go right into it.
Right into it?
Right into it, yep.
Okay, well, yes, I definitely hope you already got what you needed.
Yes, we're going right into it.
Okay, guys, let's get into it. So, a lot to talk about. It's gonna definitely be a lot I'm not able to talk about for the sake of time. So I'm going to just hit y'all with the biggest highlights and do my best to help y'all understand how to navigate through that. But we have a lot going on, y'all. So first, I just want to kind of give like a quick overview of the big picture. We got a lot and this ties right back into what we were talking about with the emotions, the water, overspilling and all that kind of stuff. A lot of that has to do, not all, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that we got a lot of planetary energy already actually stirring up in Pisces, but we got more planetary energy entering into Pisces this month, adding to what's already going on in Pisces. So Saturn has been in Pisces for a while. Neptune has been in Pisces for a while. And we just had the North Node into Pisces.
Yeah, you did say that a few days ago.
Yeah. And I actually didn't catch that right away when it happened. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, well, that explains a lot. And so the North Node is actually going to be in Pisces all the way till, I forget what month it is, but next year. Like springish, summerish. I can't remember. I just told you, I think yesterday, but I forgot already exactly what the month is. But 2026, I think July, June, July, something like that. So we've got like a whole nother year and a half, basically, of the universe basically forcing us to figure out how to focus on Pisces energy in a way that is serving us and beneficial to us, as opposed to all of the things that can go wrong in Pisces, which a lot of things can go wrong in Pisces, especially when you got Saturn there. Neptune is the planet that rules Pisces, so it's enhancing the strength of that Pisces energy even more. And then now, as we're going to talk about soon, we got the Sun entering into Pisces next. Currently, it's in Aquarius, but it will be entering into Pisces this month. Mercury actually enters into Pisces right before the Sun does. So now we're going to have 4 planets in Pisces. And
them little fishies.
No, they ain't little fishies right now. And the North Node in Pisces.
Right, they whales.
In addition to the fact that we have a Venus retrograde coming up, and after it goes retrograde in Aries, it's going to go backwards into Pisces.
Wow.
And then soon after that, while Venus is retrograde, Mercury is going to end up in Aries, and it's going to go retrograde back towards Pisces. So that's, I mean, is that enough for you guys? Like, did I say enough about Pisces already? So,
and then keep in mind what I said about the energy harvesting of our emotions.
Pisces is illusions, folks. Pisces is the subconscious mind. Pisces is imagination. Pisces is the dream realm. So if we're talking about energy harvesting, then we're definitely talking about entities that are on the other side, and they are getting all kinds of energy just off the planets alone to do what they want to do. And then that gets them excited to then harvest on other folk, especially if you're not focused and setting your imagination in a place to where it doesn't match up with what these entities want you to be thinking about, so that they can harvest the type of emotions they want to harvest.
And I will say this too, it's with what you described, what it sounds like there's so many illusions that you're more likely to get the truth of things out of your dreams than the waking state. So basically, pay attention to your dreams, is what I'm saying.
Yes, that's actually a very good point. And that's still even a little tricky too, because Saturn is there. And Saturn is, limitations and form. And Saturn is like kind of like the opposite of Pisces. It's like the energy of the 3D realm. Is form, is solid. But again, that can also mean that the dreams can be very vivid, can seem solid, can seem it can feel like you're awake when you're sleeping.
Right.
So it is important to take that to your advantage. Because it's probably going to be easier to remember the dreams when you wake up, unless you're like jarred out of your sleep, or you end up like rushing to get your day started and that sort of thing. Like, take some time to pay attention. Okay, what just happened in my dream? Even if it doesn't make sense, try to just remember it. Take that memory throughout your day, and then it'll begin to make more sense as you continue to move throughout your day. And those symbols, those messages, those situations in the dream realm will help you understand what's going on, especially long term in this realm. Because again, a lot of this stuff isn't going to make sense in the 3D realm for a while, because of all the planetary energy that we got already in Pisces, the planetary energy we got moving into Pisces. Again, Mercury is entering into Pisces and then going to go retrograde soon after that. The sun is getting ready to enter into Pisces. We're already in the Venus shadow. And then that energy is going to go backwards from Aries into Pisces. And so we got a lot of retrograde energy. We got eclipse energy coming up next month. And then Mars is still retrograde. So in case, you forgot about Mars, yes, that's still going on too. And Mars is in Cancer, which is more water, especially dealing with emotions in the home and within your family, within the idea of like where you come from, and like being at war with that within yourself, and trying to figure out what to tune into in regards to your bloodline and your lineage and your lineage magic and all these sort of things that, we don't have time to get into. But it's a lot of water is what I'm saying. Water is emotion, in astrological terms. So I don't remember how much Toya touched on this, but have things in place that you can do to help center yourself, ground yourself, and counteract or balance out and harmonize all that emotional energy to where you feel grounded in the 3D realm. You feel more collected and calm, and things can be more easygoing for you, and it's easier for you to go with the flow, because there's a lot of flow. There's a whole lot of flow now.
It's an ocean of flow.
It is an ocean of flow, people. Okay, so does that kind of help put
things into perspective?
Okay,
Yes.
so that's the broad picture. So now let's get into these dates. Now, if I ever say a time of day, just know ahead of time that we're talking Eastern time. So adjust for your time if I do mention any specific times of day. So we actually started off the month, the very first day of the month, February 1st, with a conjunction with Venus and Neptune. So Neptune, there's that water again. Venus just left. As of today, it was still in Pisces on the 1st. So we had Pisces and Neptune conjunct. We had, you might have to catch me if you Stop me if you catch me doing that and messing up my words, because I'm throwing a lot of information out.
Yes.
Trying to get it out fast. So no, Pisces did not conjunct anything. Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces on the 1st. So that's how we set the tone for the entire month, right there. A planet that's in its shadow deals with money and resources and your values, personal values, what you stand for, the things that you value, personal possessions, and all of that. In its shadow, making a conjunction or basically colliding or lining up with Neptune, the planet that rules Pisces. And that event happened in the sign of Pisces at the last portion of Pisces. So this is in a lot of ways the most difficult portion of any sign when we get to those final degrees, because this is like the universe saying, okay, this is your last chance to get it right before we change signs. So all of that's happening at the final degrees of Pisces on the 1st, and that's our introduction to February. On top of all the crazy stuff we didn't talk about that was happening in January already. Okay.
We're sorry. We tried. We did try to do something for you for January.
We was dealing with January. Okay. So let's move to February 4th. So this was actually, at the time we're recording this is yesterday. So yesterday, Jupiter actually went direct early in the morning. So yay for that. Jupiter's in Gemini right now. It's been in Gemini for a little while now. And then also, even earlier that morning, 2:57 a.m., so starting off soon right after midnight, Venus, the planet that I just mentioned, it entered into Aries. So again, it was at the edge, the final edge of Pisces, colliding with Neptune. And then 3 days later, it makes its transition into Aries, the sign of war, conflict, aggression, violence, independence, ego, me, self, all about me, right? So, so this is a lot of energy before we have the first 7 days of the month. Already, we got one of the biggest planets, Jupiter, stationing and changing direction. And anytime a planet stations or basically stops to change direction is what stationing means. Anytime a planet does that, the energy coming from that planet is way more powerful than it otherwise would be. It's slowing down. A lot of the energy is more concentrated. It's coming at us without moving forward or backwards so much. It's like more focused on us. Does that make sense? Now, the good thing about that is Jupiter is the sign of luck. It's the sign of fortune. So now that we're on the 5th, we're starting to experience more of that energy coming in to kind of just like help us out, just because, if you will. You know, it's the sign of expansion. It's the sign of exploration, right? But that word luck is important because right now we need as much of that as we can get. Now it's going to take a while for that energy. It's going to take a while for that energy to continue to actually show up for us, especially with all that's going on, because it just went retrograde and the energy has to unfold more and more as we move along. And it's all by itself in Gemini, but Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is doing a lot. So ever since yesterday, Mercury, even though it's preparing to go retrograde and do all these things in Pisces, we're getting a little bit of help from Gemini saying like, okay, let's throw some luck in there. Let's throw some rewards in there, right? Now, of course, the rewards come when you've been doing the work. But again, going back to luck,
right? Whatever you've been putting in the ground, whatever you've been sowing.
Right. But this does add a touch of luck for those who may be struggling a little bit more than others. All right. Now moving to the 7th, we got an argument between Mars and Mercury. Now this is key because again, Mars is retrograde. Mercury is about to go retrograde. And so anything that's tied to Mars right now is going to be intense. It's going to stir up conflict. It's going to stir up selfishness, that, warlike energy, potential violence, and that sort of thing. So we got an interesting. We're talking February 1st through February 7th. I'm still within that window. So this is how we're starting off things. Okay. So now let's talk about the week of the 9th through the 15th. So we're moving into the middle of the month. Do we want to take our first break? from my portion.
Do the middle of the month, and then we'll take a interlude. I
A
think after you
interlude.
do that, we'll need a little music break.
Music, little art, little art for you guys.
A little art for you guys,
Okay.
right?
All right. So Sunday, which is 2 days after the date that I just mentioned with the Mercury Mars argument, Sunday the 9th, we got Mercury lining up with the Sun. Now this is the time where Mercury is on the other side of the Sun, because when Mercury and the Sun line up, Mercury is either on the opposite side of the Sun or it's in between us and the Sun. But when it's in between us and the Sun, that's how we know it's retrograde, or that only happens when it's retrograde. So the energy of Mercury is actually in some ways being amplified by the Sun. It's like if you can imagine out in space, you got the Sun here. Mercury is going to be behind the Sun. So the energy of Mercury is coming toward us through the Sun, and then the Sun is amplifying that, and then now we get the energy of Mercury and the Sun together coming towards us. But the beneficial part of that is at least Mercury is not retrograde when that's happening. So they line up on Sunday the 9th. The Sun and Mercury are not in Pisces just yet. That doesn't happen till the following week. But 3 days later, we have a full moon, and the full moon will be in Leo. We don't have pretty much anything going on in Leo right now. Well, nothing going on in Leo until the full moon gets there. But Leo does oppose Aquarius, and Aquarius, we talked about Pisces a lot for this particular month, but I do want to remind everybody that Aquarius energy, even though we got a lot of planets leaving Aquarius, Aquarius in a lot of ways is still the main theme here for at least 2 to 3 decades or so. That's a very long time. Okay, so regardless of what else is going on, remember that Pluto is running the show in a big way because it's still in its beginning degrees of Aquarius. That Pluto transition from Capricorn to Aquarius is something I've been talking about for several years now. And so now it's in Aquarius. So regardless of what else enters Aquarius or leaves Aquarius, or any other alignments that are happening with anything else outside of the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius is like if you think of it as like a layered cake, or not necessarily a cake, but like how would I put it? Like let's use the analogy of a building. Aquarius would be that most important bottom level right now, because regardless of what else is going on, if that bottom level ain't together and you're not giving attention to that bottom level, making sure that it's together and managing everything on top of it, nothing else really matters because it's all gonna fall down. You see what I'm saying? So we got all this stuff leaving Aquarius and saying, okay, now we're focused on Pisces, but that's still a smaller or not as dominant part of the big picture what's going on as the Aquarius energy is right now, and will be for the next couple of decades at least. What is Aquarius? The awakening. This is why so much is happening in the world that's helping people actually wake up more en masse than ever before. We're getting the truth. There's the TikTok issue. There's, people moving over to Red Note to keep the momentum going that they had on TikTok. There's, all kinds of stuff like accelerating in the news, even in the mainstream news, that's helping people understand like what's really happening, and they can't hide it no more because it's not possible to hide it anymore. People are waking up.
Aquarius would also be equivalent to the Hierophant in the deck, the major arcana, which he is either he's either the Pope, like the bishop, or the heretic. So the Hierophant, he represents both sides of that in the deck.
I'm sorry, I'm pushing you out of the screen.
Yeah.
Come back on over here. I took over. All right. Yes.
So the Hierophant is either the one that's the bishop that's going to lead the flock, or he's the heretic, the cult leader that's going to start the revolution. That's the energy that Aquarius brings.
And Aquarius is shock. Aquarius is surprise, sudden and unexpected change, revolution, okay, rebellion. No, I'm not going to do that because you told me to do that. That's Aquarius energy. It's an air sign, so we're talking about thoughts and the way that we think. So in a very big way, we're seeing the minds come alive in humanity. All right. Aquarius is also ingenuity. innovativeness, internet, technology. Okay, so we're going to see again for the next couple of decades. This is why so much emphasis is being put on technology right now more than ever before. Not just AI, but all forms of technology. Okay, so regardless of what we see going on with the more detailed aspects of what's happening, remember that Aquarius energy is going to be that backdrop for this entire year, the next several years, the next couple of decades. All right. So, with that being said, we have the Sun conjunct Mercury on the 9th in Aquarius. All right. So, expect for the 9th to be intensified with those themes that I just discussed. And then the day after that, we got Mercury arguing with Uranus, which is the planet that rules Aquarius. So that's heightening that energy even more to where now it's starting to get even more shaky if it wasn't already shaky on the 9th. All right. Sudden unexpected change. Mercury's getting ready to go retrograde. We got, probably sudden problems with communication are probably going to start amping up then in preparation for the retrograde. Problems with health and your wellness. Things going on inside your body. You may start to see a lot of things like surprising you, like, oh, I need to handle this now. I was handling this over here, and now I got to add this to it. So make sure that you're prepared for that and take notes so that you can know what to focus on when Mercury actually goes retrograde, because these are going to be the foreshadowing to help you prepare for that. All right. Mm-hmm. And then right after that, we got the Sun making a square with Uranus, because remember the Sun and Mercury were like this on the 9th. So if Mercury is going to square Uranus the next day, we know the Sun is going to be doing that too. If not that day, then soon after that, which is the 11th. So we got the 9th, 10th, and 11th, huge Aquarius explosions potentially on those 3 days. All right, and then right after that, we got the full moon that I just spoke about. All right, so now, I don't know how Valentine's Day is going to go this month for people. If you aren't prepared for that, already got plans, you might want to get on that if you're planning on doing something. Because I don't see a whole lot of efficient planning going on that week. But 2 days after the full moon, we got Valentine's Day on the 14th, which is the exact day that Mercury finally enters Pisces ahead of the Sun. And the Sun's coming the following week after that to enter Pisces. So this is actually our start. Valentine's Day is actually the start of all this new planetary energy entering into Pisces. I don't know what that means in the realm of love and relationships for you guys. What you feel like you might need to do about that, but
I got nothing.
Yeah. The Pisces energy is kicking up on Valentine's Day, folks. All right, so illusions. Please don't be upset with your hubby if he didn't, even if he planned something for you, didn't turn out the way that he wanted. I got something planned for you though.
I was waiting.
I planned early.
I was waiting on it. I
planned very early for this one, and I'm glad that I did because, well, I'm not gonna potentially ruin my surprise. But anyway, good luck if you celebrate Valentine's Day. All right. So that's the week of the 9th through the 15th. That's the main highlights that we got going on that week. Are we ready to take that break before I get into the final 2 weeks?
Yes, let's take a break because I need a drink of water.
And y'all probably need to breathe.
Yes, let's breathe.
And listen to some music, some art.
Yes.
Let's give y'all some art.
Yes. Okay.
We back?
Yeah, we're back. We were trying.
Are y'all still there?
We was trying to get ourselves. I am struggling with this mic on my Shaman Hands. Got the fancy clip mics, and I keep hitting mine and covering mine and adjusting it. We gonna get it together. We go. This recording thing in the video
it's a
is
little
new.
new.
It's a little new, so we get it together.
And this is the first time we've actually had our own lavaliers like individually,
right?
Without having to like lean in with my low quiet storm voice, trying to make sure y'all can hear me.
Right.
So all right,
but we're back. I hope you enjoyed that break and
action. So now we're in the final 2 weeks of the month. Now, if I haven't talked about Pisces enough, the sun enters Pisces on the 18th. So we just had Mercury enter Pisces on Valentine's Day. And now, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 days later, Tuesday the 18th, the sun enters Pisces. So this will be the final, other than the moon, but y'all know I don't like go in on the moon often because it moves so fast. It goes around the entire zodiac every month.
But when you do mention the moon, that means it's doing something major.
Right. Right. So which it actually will. Here in a moment, we'll see that later towards the end of February. I'm going to talk about that too. But other than the moon, this will be the final entry of a major planet into the sign of Pisces. So as of February 18th, we will have the North Node, Neptune, Saturn, the Sun, and Mercury all in Pisces. So thank goodness Jupiter is direct by that time. Well, it actually went direct yesterday. So again, like I said before, we need all the luck we can get. But again, do not buy into what you are seeing as soon as you see it, especially if it doesn't make you feel good. If it makes you feel bad, if it throws you off, just remember like, oh, this is probably illusion. Okay? Keep that, like, use that phrase this month. Oh, this is probably illusion. You might need to use that a lot if it's working for you. Okay? And just give things time to play out. Because again, like, we're not going to see a lot of this stuff play out to where things become like way more clear for some months now. And I'm going to talk about another reason why that is in a minute. But it's going to be a lot of illusions, y'all. So like on the 18th, and remember the sun is the flashlight. It's the spotlight. Not the flashlight, so to speak, but more so the spotlight. I mean, think about it. When the sun comes up over the horizon in the morning, how many things are brought into view that weren't into view when the sun was below the horizon? Like, that's the power of the light of the sun. So when the sun enters into a new sign, this is the sun's energy shining light on things of that particular theme. So the light is going to be shining even more on the illusions than it already was prior to that with all this other energy in Pisces already. So on the 18th, be prepared, anticipate, be ready for things to pop off that if you're not already thinking like, okay, I'm prepared for some illusions to hit, then it can throw you off. Like in a major way. That's a lot of energy, folks. And not only is it a lot of planets in Pisces, we're talking about Saturn, Neptune. Like, these are like more the outer planets. They move slower. Again, remember I said the slower planet moves, the more concentrated and widely impactful that energy is. All right. So we got Neptune, Saturn, the Sun, and Mercury, and the North Node, which is where our soul wants to be directed. Right. So if we're not careful about how we are giving our attention to that particular sign's energy, then it can throw us all over the place. But the universe is forcing us to pay attention to Pisces, regardless of what else is happening in Pisces, because the North Node is there. All right, does that make sense?
It does.
So be mindful on the 18th, guys. It's going to really, really, really kick up starting right there. All right. We got an argument between Jupiter and Mercury on the 20th. So just to put that out there, be mindful. There may be some stuff um, shaken up by that, but that's definitely not one of the main highlights. I just wanted to give y'all that, just so y'all know that some things can get a little crazy right there. And now we're in the last week of the month. So let's talk the 23rd through the 28th. This is huge, guys, because not only is this how we're in and out the month, not only do we have 3 days of a lot of like really, really intense activity, but this is also leading us up into the 1st of March, which is the day that Venus goes retrograde. So on Sunday the 23rd, Mars goes direct. Again, that's when a planet stations to change direction. It is going to be direct now, but it's a station is a station. It's still concentrated energy. It's throwing a lot at us. And we still have that shadow period to go through where Mars is still shaking up things, even though it's direct. It still has to go forward from the point where it is stopping to move back forward through that path that it took while it was going retrograde. So it started here to go backwards over this path. And then when it goes direct, that means it's here. So yes, it's direct moving forward, but it's still got to go back over this path a third time. So what that means is it's going to be bringing up very similar issues that we saw when it was retrograde, and even before the retrograde started, when it went over that path the first time prior to the retrograde portion of its journey. So this is going to be a round 3 in a lot of ways of Mars energy moving from its point in Cancer back forward to where it first went retrograde in the sign of Leo. So I don't know if y'all knew that. For those who didn't remember that, if you did know, Mars was in Leo when it first went retrograde, and then it transitioned backwards into Cancer, which also shakes up things when a planet transitions and it's retrograde. It's higher energy than just a transition by itself or just the retrograde energy by itself.
And Mars doesn't like the water either.
Mars hates water. Water puts fire out.
Yeah.
So imagine Mars being agitated because it's retrograde, and now you dump it in a bunch of water in the home. You know what I'm saying? Within your family.
Right.
Like all of these things. So that's what's been going on with Mars. And then it stations to change direction again to go back this way on the 23rd of the month. All right. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about Mars because if I start talking about Mars, we'll be here all day. So 2 days later, the 25th, we got Mercury lining up with Saturn. So Saturn at this point, I said it's in Pisces. The Sun just went into Pisces. Mercury just went into Pisces by the time we get to the 25th. But now Mercury's actually lining up directly with Saturn at the same degree. So again, this is the limitation. This is the emphasis on the 3D realm and structure and solidity, form, things manifesting, right? But this is not the time to be expecting a lot of things you want to manifest because of the emphasis on the Pisces energy. So what this means is, again, the dreams will probably be helping you out a lot when Mercury lines up with Saturn, because Mercury is communication. So expect for the dreams to help you even more when that lineup happens, and then tune in so that you can remember that stuff and take it into your waking state as you come out. Because again, these are more clues. Okay, this is what is happening right now, and also your dreams may be telling you this is what you want to focus on while we're in Pisces, the realm of imagination, so that when it comes time to manifest later down the road, when that energy shifts further into Aries, you will have been putting those seeds and that energy into a certain direction, so that now they have the energy they need to come to fruition when it's time for that. All right. So that's the 25th, and then we end out the month. It's not the last day of the month, but the 27th. We have a new moon in Pisces. So there's that Pisces energy again. Yeah, I don't even know what else I can say about Pisces. It's just water, water, water on top of water, folks. And then 2 days later, the 1st of the month, the 1st of March, we have Venus finally going retrograde in the sign of Aries. And it's at the beginning stages of Aries, which means it's not going to be a whole lot longer time. There's not going to be a lot of time that passes after that where it now reverts backwards. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at y'all this way. It now reverts backwards. I've been using this direction as forward, so I'm just gonna stay with that. So I don't confuse y'all. So it's gonna be going backwards back into Pisces as well. So that's gonna be a whole nother planet. So then we're gonna have Venus, the North Node, Neptune, Saturn, the Sun, and Mercury all in Pisces at the same time. Good God. Yeah, take a breath, folks. Remember to breathe. I don't know. I don't even know what else to say. Cause I wanted to mention this real quick. Do we have another break?
No.
Okay, so let me mention this real quick. Let's talk Uranus. Let's talk Venus and Uranus and the relationship that they have with each other right now, because this is very key. This Venus retrograde is it cannot be overstated how important this Venus retrograde is that we're about to have. Why do I say that? Because Uranus has been in the sign of Taurus since 20. I want to say it went into Taurus 2018. I would have to check my ephemeris here to make sure, but I'm not going to waste time flipping through that. But it was either 2017 or 2018. I know for sure when Uranus went into Taurus. So it's been in Taurus that entire time. Hence the shakeups in finances, resources, food issues, land issues, values, money, resources of all kinds, right? So that's a long time. We're talking 2018 to 2025. So we're talking like 7 years, right? Uranus is about to transition into Gemini on 7/7, I believe. July 7th?
That's what you said, yeah.
July 7th. That is right. So what does that mean? Venus rules Taurus. Venus rules Libra as well, but right now we're talking about Taurus energy because Uranus is leaving Taurus, which means that this tongue-tied. This Venus retrograde that we're about to have is going to be the final Venus retrograde that we are going to see while Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. Which means, and we've had quite a few Venus retrogrades with Uranus being in Taurus. So what that means is any lessons that you didn't learn and didn't like get a handle on in the previous Venus retrogrades that deal with what Uranus has been doing to Taurus energy, shaking up things the way that it has for these 7 years, those lessons are going to be a lot more loud or a lot louder for you starting, well, it's already started because Venus is in the shadow already. But when the retrograde hits on March 1st, things are going to seriously amp up for you guys because, again, it's that final exam energy, that final test, because we're not going to see another Venus retrograde with Uranus and Taurus ever again. Because by the time Uranus goes all the way around and hits Taurus again, unless you live to be like way past the average age where people live on this planet, which is what, 120 years? Like, don't expect to see that again. Matter of fact, let me just real quick. Make sure. Yeah, I was trying to give y'all okay, put it this way. This ephemeris goes to 2050, and on the last page of this, Uranus is in Virgo. So it's not even gonna make it halfway back around the Taurus by 2050. Okay, so unless you're planning on taking some like extra long life pills or something, or if somebody makes some technology to help us live way longer than normal, we're not going to see this again. So think about that when you think about how serious it is for you to honor and give attention to the lessons about money right now. Because when Uranus goes in the Gemini on July 7th, now the shakeups and the shocks and surprises and all of that stuff is going to be in the realm of information, communication, movement, exchange, energy transfer, all that kind of stuff. And thankfully, it's not going to be affecting our money like that anymore. But we got a little bit of ways to go before we get there. And the Venus retrograde starts March 1st. So buckle up, pay attention, get your money right, and be responsible with your resources, your finances, and your values.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
How'd I do?
You did great. And that is it. We caught Shaman Hands drinking his water.
Take some sips after all that.
The gallon water at that.
I ain't playing.
Right out the gallon. So, yes, that is it for February 2025's Why in the Sky. Thank you for listening on the podcast. Thank you for those of you who are reviewing on YouTube. And yeah, that's all I got. I mean, it's straightforward. It's, listen to this, watch this a few times, if you have to, and just follow the advice, given, and you guys will be fine. You'll be perfectly fine for the rest of this month, really going through the rest of this year. Again, pay attention to where your energy is and your focus is going, and don't panic. That's ultimately the theme of this month. So with that being said, again, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you. We are thinking about doing a live Why in the Sky event where we will go over a forecast for the entire year. But we're figuring out what platform to do that on. We're working out some logistics. So, but look for that maybe within the next month or so. Definitely before the end of March, before we get too much into the year. So when we get that figured out, we will make an announcement. But outside of that, I hope you guys are blessed. I hope you do well. And until next time.
Till next time, guys.
Peace.
Peace.